There is a line in the sand we have inherited, according to Roberta Metsola. I agree with her. There is a line in the sand we have inherited in Europe. Let's have a look what the lady is saying. Let's have a look.
There is a line in the sand that we have inherited. A line that is forever Europe. That is our line.
Asha.
And our determination to ensure that it is not erased by imperialist aggression.
That it is not erased by imperialist aggression. Then I assume that Mrs. Metsola is talking about the USA, correct? And Nord Stream 2. And the terrorist attack on Europeans. I am correct, am I not, Roberta Metsola? Am I not?
Will mark the Europe we want to leave behind.
Yes, it will mark the Europe we leave behind. Are we a Europe that follows the fascist Nazi regime in Washington after they blew up our gas supply, after they ruined our European economy? And we have a responsibility. Let's listen to this wise lady. I'm sure she's talking about the USA.
We have a responsibility, not just towards ourselves and our children, but also those who look to the European Union as a beacon of hope to protect and nurture our values.
And what might those values be? The ones from Zelensky, Nazi regime Kiev? As we heard so many times, this is an example of European values and democracy after he shut down all opposition. Journalists getting persecuted, even worse, put on a kill list. Children put on a kill list because they wrote a letter to the UN. Those values, Metsola, Mrs. Metsola, please answer in response, because this video is gonna go up on Twitter, directly on your Twitter feed. Are those the values that we nurture and protect for the future? Nazism and fascism?
Now, more than ever, must all our energy, strength and resources be directed towards policies that ensure that democracy prevails.
Oh, how I agree with this lady. You know, how I agree with this lady. Now more than ever, we need to ensure in Europe that Nazism and fascism gets squashed again. We have only one responsibility to the world, Europe and Germany in particular, that Nazism and fascism never rises again. Yet here we are, governments openly supporting Nazism and fascism with money, with weapons, with training. Proudly they announce this, that they train, 40,000, 50,000 of them now worldwide. Those fascists, those Nazis. Are those really the European values? Then yes, for fuck sure, we need to rise up. Europeans need to rise up and make sure that those don't become the values of the future for our children and for our responsibility to the rest of the world, in particular to the Russians, because they delivered the freedom blow. Remember? They took Berlin. They gave you in Holland, in Germany, in France, everywhere in Europe, your freedom. And now you spit on it? I hope that the 9th of May when the Russians celebrate the victory, I hope that we will have peace talks in the Ukraine. I hope the Russians and the Ukrainians will be sitting on the table and talk peace. That's where our effort should go, Mrs. Metsola. We had Germany and we had France being guarantors for the Minsk agreement. Shamefully, you guys admitted that you only signed it to buy time for Nazis and fascist armies of the Ukraine. I keep saying it since last year, and I will keep saying it. Your governments in Europe who support full-heartedly Nazism and fascists, they are Nazis and fascists. There is no such thing as just a Nazi lover. You know, oh, it's such a nice ideology. I can sympathize with it. Huh? When you give weapons training to Nazis and fascists, you are a Nazi and a fascist. Europe, rise up, because time is short. Time is short. With all the economic collapses that are coming down the road, when the dollar collapse, when the euro collapse, what do you think will happen next year? Use your head. Speak out against this. There need to be peace talks. No weapons, no training, peace talks. And if they don't come from our leaders, then our leaders, they are traitors. They are traitors. Hang them. Fuck's sake. Hang them.